Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Good morning. Happy 4th of July. We're spending Independence Day independently. I congratulate all the members who are being safe, staying at home. We're being patient and keeping ourselves and others safe. I know it's difficult for many people to be doing this. We're doing our part to help shorten the time to when we can come together again in our hondos to have our services. However, it's unfortunate that there are others who are not behaving so wisely. They are doing things that are spreading the disease, and therefore the infection rate in San Diego has risen, both in the infection rate and the hospitalization. And therefore, many of our businesses have had to close again. And so it seems that we will have to wait on having our on-site services delayed. We're not sure when this will happen again. Now, what we've been doing is enacting our third paramita, patience. Patience is something that we're able to do that helps others. And this COVID-19 is helping us see the many activities as Shin Buddhists that we can enact to actually practice our Buddhism. Since this is the first Sunday of the month, we usually have our Shotsuki service at this time. And we honor those who have passed on in the month of July, those who have helped us be here today. And so I would like to read the names of those who have passed in the month of July. And perhaps in your home altars or ubutsudan, you can burn incense in their honor. So I will begin to read the names. Akitoshi Inoue, Michael Elroy, Yuruko Hagio, Haruko Nagatani, Dr. Y. Miyamoto, Henry Shimada, Naganori Uchiyama, Yoshiko Iwataki, Jack Takeguchi, Hideo Ochi, Chie Ito, En Nishiguchi, Keizo Ida, Tsuneji Suda, Tamio Okano, Jim Doi, Dan Morimoto, Eugene Terada, Christine Shimizu, Kazukiyo Oto, Kurume Doi, Komino Sakamoto, Sakayo Kawamoto, Tom Itsumi Hayashi, Michiko Koba, Harry Kawamoto, Toshio Hashimoto, Kusako Inoue, Wasa Osaki, Matsu Ito, Torio Ishizaki, Yukee Shiozaki, Yutaka Takesugi, Fujino Shimizu, Katsu Tanizaki, Noburo Sakaguchi, Shigeo Yamanishi, Hideo Suenaga, Toshitaro Yamashita, Kinjo Ouchi, Chie Kyotoku, Zennichi Ogawa, Kosaburo Ishino, Sanoku Kawasaki, Kichiro Kinoshita, Kichinaga Iwasaki, Masakazu Ishizu, Jiro Muraoka, Tari Otomo, Mine Ogata, Sharon Yamaguchi, Chosuke Himaka, Kikujiro Shinoda, Kazue Murakami, Mitsu Iwata, Haru Hayashi, Tsune Harashi, Hidekichi Doi, Koichi Kuwada, Fumino Honda, Takeo Okuma, Kinosuke Tsuneyoshi. And please burn incense even if I have not called their names of anyone who may have passed away in the month of July. Since this is the 4th of July weekend, I would like to talk and speak about the maturity and growth of our nation. The Declaration of Independence led to the signing of the Constitution a few years later of the United States. And in the preamble of the Constitution, it begins with the words, "We the people." These words were written by people who were basically European white men who owned property. In 1776, we the people had a certain meaning. It did not include all the people in America. It's a statement where these words would be a definition that would have to be enlarged and would grow in the years. So in the many decades and centuries that follow, we the people have grown. Over 150 years ago, President Lincoln and the Civil War allowed slaves to be free. Now, if we think about it, slaves were people who were owned by other people. How would we feel if we were owned by someone else, being placed like an object? Now, that will show us why there's so much anger and protest about the Confederacy. Now, next month marks the 100th anniversary of women getting the right to vote. My mother-in-law is 100 years old. So when she was born, over the half the country could not vote for the government over which they would be able to govern. And so you see, these words, we the people, are enlarging. But then, even if these laws were passed, in reality, sometimes they were not enacted. So we're still in the process of defining we the people. We're fortunate to be living in a time where conditions around us motivate us to awaken. And we see that the COVID-19 virus, the Black Lives Matter movement, and climate change, they're kind of unfortunate inconveniences to our usual way of life. Actually, these are alarm bells. Some are very loud and some are more silent. But they try to awaken us because they are like the First Noble Truth tells us, that when we feel discomfort or pain, something is wrong, something is off balance. The Second Noble Truth tells us that the cause of it is our ignorance, our hatred, our greed. This is something that's hard to hear. We don't want to believe that we are part of this, that we think that, oh, this virus is outside of us, it's something else, that perhaps Black Lives Matter are about a different race, and that climate change is too difficult for us to understand. But waking up means that these issues have always been here, and we are just now becoming aware of them. They have been here, and they may always be here, but we have the means to help correct them. As Buddhists, it's inherent in our name that we are waking up, because Buddha means an awakened being, and that the term woke that young people are using indicate that someone who is aware. And what we're waking up to is not a belief. What we are waking up to is what is true and real. We are realizing that everything is interconnected. We call that interdependence. We're waking up to the fact that everything is changing, and we call that impermanence. Everything is in a dynamic motion of change, and we are connected to all of that. And we are waking up because we are suffering, and we are seeing that things are unbalanced. What do COVID-19, the Black Lives Matter movement, and climate change, what are they telling us? They're telling us that our world is out of balance, that we are out of balance. And they tell us that disease, human tyranny, human misuse of the environment have kind of been with us, but that these are constants that we're able to be involved in. But the prosperity of the last half century has distracted us. It's enabled us because of the entertainment, sports, and other activities have been very convenient to distract us from the realities of this world. And now, because this deadly virus is very contagious and affects the whole world, because of the videos that we see of black men and women being killed by police in situations where lethal force is not warranted, because we see evidence of the warming of the planet, signs that the ice in the northern areas are melting, that a hope helps us awaken to these things, to these disasters. So our work as Buddhists is to see this and to wake up and to bring balance, to bring harmony to all things. We do not see the Buddha as a God, somebody outside of ourselves that control all things. Namo Amida Butsu affirms our oneness with light and life, wisdom and compassion. We're a part of all humanity, all life forms, everything in the universe. So we see that we have been a factor in our present condition. We have the opportunity also to determine our future. But waking up is not enough. Just like the Bodhisattva Dhammakaya, our work is before us. We must work for the benefit of others. As citizens, we work to help define the term we, the people. As Buddhists, we have a responsibility to be a source of wisdom and compassion to the everyday lives of everyone. In our Buddhism 123 evening class on Wednesday evenings, we are talking about the topics of COVID-19. We spoke about that last Wednesday. This coming Wednesday, we will speak on the topic of how a Shin Buddhist might respond to the Black Lives Matter movement. And in a couple of weeks, we'll talk about climate change and how we might respond to that. These are not political issues. They're not just social issues. They are religious and spiritual issues because they are human issues. We shouldn't let labels stop us from awakening. We can't let other people define us by saying that Buddhists just sit in meditation while the world spins around us. We know that Shinran, Renyo, the Dalai Lama, Thich Nhat Hanh, all work to correct imbalances in the lives around them. So as we wake up to these injustices and imbalances in our world, we realize that we have helped to create this condition. We also see that we have a role in correcting them. So come to our evening classes by contacting our office. Anyone can join us. There are many people outside of the San Diego community who are participating. And if you feel that you're isolated at this time, you'll see that you can be engaged in balancing our world. We can see the true and real conditions of our life, and we'll talk about how we as Shin Buddhists might see the world and respond to it. Namo Amida Butsu helps us to wake up to the realities of life. And when we see an imbalance, when we feel this, when we see an injustice to some people, it is an injustice to us. We see that this virus affects all of us, and we see that climate change affects the whole world. We don't just sit and contemplate, that this is happening, but we have the ability in our knowledge and our awakening that we are part of all humanity and all of the universe. So please join us, and let's discuss and talk about these issues and how we might respond to make our lives worthy. Please join me in expressing our gratitude in this awakening process, to awaken to who we the people are and who we might be in bringing wisdom and compassion to our lives. Please join me in expressing our appreciation for the Nembutsu. Gasho, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.